Okay guys, we got a Heartland Mallard here, and we got to put on our Inspector Gadget hat for this one. So, trying to find a leak, and this is going to be a M26 Heartland Mallard. And right where the floor is really soft here, it's probably not much holding these steps, considering how soft the floor is. I expect for these not to be attached much longer. But what's causing this leak? Let's do some preliminary inspections. So there's a window right there. So we're gonna look and see if that, but we also have some plumbing over here. And then the biggest hole in the wall would be the door. So, and we have another window right here. So we have two windows, a door, and some plumbing in the vicinity. So what I like to do is find out exactly where it starts and stops. So we're pretty solid right here, and the frame is here. There's no frame under this part. Still solid right here. Coming over here, we're solid, we're solid, we're solid. Get it right there. Super sketch. Very soft all around. The softest parts right around the door. And then come over here and very soft. And when we get to start getting close to the window, solid. So this window is out. I don't think it's that window. So now it's between the door, this window, and the plumbing. So let's see if we have any evidence of a leak around this window. Looking behind the window, and on the surface, I don't. Let's take a look at where this plumbing routes. I'll have to take all of that out of there and see the condition of the floor. This wallpaper, it's this Luan, it comes like that, it's bonded to the paneling. It will wrinkle up and delaminate quite easily. That door is looking kind of funky. See that big gap in the door there? So I don't think it's coming through this window either. There's no signs on the countertop. Said they took it to Camping World, which Camping World, these campers are made for Camping World, these Mallards. You can only buy them new at Camping World. And you can see where they had a different leak over here near the slide. Camping World said it came from the roof. I'll check that out. Solid. I'm gonna take a look at the plumbing, but my main thing is what's coming loose. Well, this trim is coming loose. Like I said, this stuff is just glue and staple, and it comes apart quite easily. My money's on the door itself, so I'll be taking that apart. And but I can't rule out the plumbing. because it's so close by. And I gotta see how far under, because this is going under the cabinet as well. It goes about to right here. So it seems like my concentration is right around the door. So let me clean out the cabinets and where's this panel here? Clean out the cabinets and see if we have a leak underneath the cabinet. So I gotta rule the plumbing out. You know, it doesn't help that the camper is kind of in the middle of nowhere and there's no hookups, because I need to see with the water on if the plumbing is leaking. But and this stuff doesn't happen overnight. When you have this kind of damage, it's been leaking for a long time, many months. This doesn't happen in a few weeks, guys. Not for wood to rot. Wood doesn't rot in a few weeks, not even if it's wet. You know, you can leave a sheet of plywood outside and let it get rained on consistently and it will not rot out like that. So of course the sun dries it out pretty good every time too, but still it takes a long time for a floor to rot like that. So let me take all this stuff out and take a look. So you can't really, especially with insurance companies, they're not gonna fix the final cause. The final issue is the floor is rotten, but what caused that? They want the root cause fixed, or at least known before they fix the resulting effects. This is the resulting effects from a leak, and as you can see, I went underneath, it's soaking wet, opened up the underbelly a little bit. This needs to dry out, and this goes under the cabinet. I did find a leak, a hot water leak under there. However, the floor is not soft. I need to take apart a lot more stuff, but I decided to go ahead and remove the floor as if I was going to be doing a repair right now, so I could see better indications of where it's starting from, because I couldn't find from the outside or where this door is leaking. I don't see any sunlight coming through there. As I'm looking in there, I don't see really any evidence of water coming from the top down. So I had to kind of take that apart a little bit to see that the wood in here isn't wet. You know, it's all aluminum framing. The screws were not rusted when they came out. So I'm dealing with water intrusion, not from the top, but more so possibly from the bottom. And now what I'm seeing is, even though it's concentrated a lot around the door, and like I said, there is a leak under there, I'm also seeing all the way underneath this window going to this compartment. I'm seeing the damage, you know, water damage all the way over here. And it seems to stop right about there. Nice to see the plywood and not chipboard. Now I gotta go to this compartment out here to see what's going on, if that compartment is leaking, because the leak is kind of coming in from the bottom and it's getting under the floor. It's not sitting on top of the floor because the stuff on top of the floor, like the wallpaper and stuff and the trim, is not really getting wet. But you can see there a little mold, and you see that sits off the ground a little bit. It's not really touching that paneling. But let's take a look in this compartment and see if we're getting water in here. Yep, soft floor. We got a soft floor inside the compartment. So basically having to do all this to track the leak all the way down. Started off with just that one little spot. I found out that it goes under the sink. Now I see that it's going into the compartment. So who's leaking? Where's the water coming from? That's what we're trying to find out. All the way up to the front cap. And these front caps are notorious for leaking. So let's see, that's for the jacks probably. So let me move all this stuff out of here and see the extent of the damage in this floor. All right, so as I suspected, coming all the way up here near the front cap. So starting at this front cap, I'll have to get on the roof and inspect that to see if we have a leak, which the front cap is a very common spot for a leak. Going here and down all the way throughout. A bonus leak on the hot water side of the sink. But yeah, so I'll get my tape measure and measure all of this distance to see what we have so far. All right, so definitely have evidence of the front cap leaking, mostly on this side. See, this side, it needs work too, but the thing needs to be resealed. But it has big gaps. You can see where the it's like something was there that's missing now, or the whole trim. And the trim couldn't shrunk, but nevertheless, there's big cracks. So of course, when it rains, it's going to be able to follow that screw mold straight down this side. And while we're up here, let's check out the roof. Because the water's running down and in, the roof is still good, which is good for the customer. Voids. Just needs a reseal. He's supposed to do this once a year as a regular maintenance. You can see where the water is pooling up on the slide here. The wiper seals are a bit to be desired. They should be hugging it a little better. They should have at least an inch of overlap on this surface. So let's take a closer look at that, as we did have some water intrusion. You see how that has overlap, and that slide seal is all tore up down there. The seals are bad. You're getting water in through there as well. But yeah, these seals don't have enough overlap. They should be like oh, this one has that bump, but that goes straight in. Yeah, seals, I replaced these seals because that's probably like looks like somebody trimmed them down. That's probably just like a 2-inch seal. I go with a larger seal for one, to overlap that and stop some of that water intrusion, because in certain spots they're just the edge of it is touching. So as this is not perfectly square, as they seldom are, you can see where the water is kind of pooling up. I see another problem right here. That needs to be resealed. It's kind of bulging out right there. But yeah, wiper seals on the slide need to be replaced. But a lot of this water damage is coming from this front cap is leaking, at least in these areas at the very minimum. It's definitely getting directly underneath that track, which goes down the whole seam. You know, that is what's joining this together. with the side, so it's open. It needs to be sealed up. So that's what we got going on. Let's wrap this up. We got another appointment. All right, so what we basically have is about 16 inches by 16 feet. I need to go out, and man, I really need to go out about 2 feet, you know, at the bare minimum 16 inches, but that's hardwood. But some spots like that, it's a little worse. I need to cut out all of that bad spot. So I'm actually looking at about 20 inches. And even back there is a little deeper, but maybe that could be salvaged. So I'm looking at basically 2 feet by 16 feet. Starts at the front cap, goes all the way back to under the countertop where we had that bonus leak. And the frame is 14 inches in. So at the bare minimum, I could stop right there. So between 14 and 24 inches wide, 16 feet deep, I'm gonna have to replace that plywood to make this work. As far as this leak for the slide, the wiper seals need to be replaced, and that's just a solution for that. The little water damage that you see everywhere at the bottom there, all that's coming from the outside. The only thing that keeps these slides from taking on water from the outsides are these wiper seals. And since these wiper seals are shredded, and at the top, it's like, even when they first made this camper, the wiper seals, you could see they're barely touching the sides. They were too short to start with. They should be overlapping and hugging the slide. You can get the final specs for that from Lippert, but you see how that is hugging the slide. You know, it has to have at least an inch or so of overlap to do its job. And it doesn't have that on the top. And like I said, these on the side, they're all shredded. They're not doing anything, so water's running directly into the slide. Okay, so this stuff has to be replaced. The front cap is leaking, as we talked about, coming all the way down the front in this area where we have the leaks, and taking the floor all the way back, and then meeting up with the hot water leak. Don't have any water to put on it to see if the hot water is still leaking, but if I'm contracted to do this repair, of course I will put water on it to see if that is indeed still leaking, because that will have to be fixed as well. So reseal the roof, replace the wiper seals, fix the plumbing, and that will stop the water intrusion. Replace the floors to repair the damage that has already been made.